Big Ten media days are over. Football practice starts this week. So, are we any closer to closure from Michigan's June NCAA hearing on Spygate? Sherrone Moore is already going to have a self-imposed 2-game suspension. Could more punishment be coming from the NCAA, and how is Sherrone Moore preparing for that? He spoke about it a little bit. Locked on Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman, 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer, and I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hit that free subscribe button down below while you're watching, and you'll never miss another episode again. Plus, share, like, and follow. That helps us out as well. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. So, more punishment for more, and how will we deal with this? We have some news, and why is everybody jumping on Jeremiah Smith? We got some news there later on after our recruiting segment. But we are excited about the 2025 season, as you are. Media days were last week. Practice starting up for everybody this week. The first game at the end of August for everybody. Very exciting. It's what it's all about. Well, what about the NCAA's pending decision about Michigan following their June hearing regarding the notice of allegations regarding 11 NCAA violations, 6 of them serious level 1 accusations, some of which include the Conner Stalions sign-stealing Spygate scandal that broke in the middle of the 2023 national championship season. The earliest that the NCAA could have released their findings from that final hearing was 45 days after the hearing. It says we have at least 45 days to make some sort of announcement or judgment, and it'll be final. Well, 45 days would have been last week, right in the middle of Big Ten media days. Can you imagine if the NCAA had come down with a hammer or some sort of suspension while Sherrone Moore's talking to the media right there? Look, we were hopeful the sooner the better that we get the information and just plan on it and move on. But the NCAA never does anything in a timely manner. So I think the NCAA owes it to Michigan and to us, college football fans, and the kids on that football team. Wrap this up so we can plan on how to proceed for the 2025 season. These current kids on Michigan had nothing to do with any of this. The kids that were on the team back when it was all going on had nothing to do with it. It's expected, though, that the NCAA will come down with some sort of ruling, and their ruling will be final before Michigan opens up the season on August 30th versus New Mexico. So anytime between now and then, and we'll be all over it here. Now, Michigan looked at those notice of allegations a few months ago, and they must have decided that there was some there, at least a little bit, because they self-imposed a 2-game suspension on Sherrone. They didn't just say, hey, NCAA, you're full of it. We've got a hearing in June. We're going to make you look bad on all of it and just go away. No, they said, all right, here's the deal. We're going to, out of the kindness of our heart, self-impose a 2-game suspension. Will that be enough, please, so we can all move on? By the way, it will be weeks 3 and 4, not 1 and 2. However, having said that, maybe that there is some there, Michigan also reportedly strongly refuted a lot of what was in that NCAA report. So I want to cover both sides of this here. But I think overall there's a big sense of, hey, let's move on. Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti said as much. He confirmed during media days that he did write a letter on Michigan's behalf to the NCAA. The report was, hey, I've already suspended him. I've suspended Jim Harbaugh 3 games. We've already taken care of that. Now, Petitti wouldn't confirm the contents of it. He just confirmed that he did write the letter. He said that it wouldn't be unusual for a commissioner to stand up for one of its schools in one of these situations. But I think the feeling was enough is enough. Again, with the 3-game suspension of Harbaugh. And that was 2 seasons ago, obviously. And several members of Harbaugh's staff at the time, including Harbaugh, they they'll have lengthy show cause penalties, even though they're no longer at Michigan. I mean, it feels like the NCAA wants to get somebody who's still there, and it's pretty much just Sherrone Moore for the most part. Now, while there is this notion that it's time to move on with a lot of people, don't tell that to Ohio State Buckeye fan. I know Ohio State Buckeye fans chomping at the bit, probably typing comments right now. Go, oh, because they've been very vocal about this for 2 years. They want the hammer to come down on Michigan. They want, year-long suspension for Moore, show cause penalties, fines, scholarships taken away, recruiting restrictions, wins taken away, championships taken away. They want it all. They want it all. Now, I'd be surprised if any or all that happened, for the record. But remember, NCAA President Charlie Baker said that there was no on-field advantage gained by Michigan for Spygate, and that Michigan won its national championship fair and square. How would that look if the NCAA then came back and says, we're gonna lay the hammer down for you, even though our president said everything was fair and square? That's a bad look. That's weird. But you never know with the NCAA. You never know. It wouldn't be the first time that the NCAA had failed to make sense. Now, Sherrone Moore, Michigan, have finagled this 2-game suspension to take place in weeks 3 and 4 instead of the first 2 weeks of the season. This is primarily to allow him to coach against his alma mater, Oklahoma, in week 2. Plus, it's a huge game for Michigan. So what's the plan in Ann Arbor for a worst-case scenario, right? What if this NCAA says, the 2 games is not enough? We want 4. We want a half a season. We want a season. What's the plan there? When Jim Harbaugh missed all of his games, remember, he had multiple 3-game suspensions, 2 of them, missed 6 games, missed half the season. And in all but 1 game, Sherrone Moore stepped up and handled it swimmingly, I might add. It's probably the number one reason he's the head coach at Michigan today. He proved that he could run things and have no hiccups. So what are we going to do if Sherrone Moore is the one that has to sit out a lengthy time? What is the plan for Moore's absence? We don't even know what Moore's plan is for the 2-game suspension that they've self-imposed that we all agree is going to happen. So Moore was asked about it during media days. He says, is there a plan in place? And his answer was, yep. Yep. One word. And then declined to give any more details. We don't know. Is offensive coordinator Chip Lindsey going to step in and run the show? I mean, he just got promoted. That's a lot. Wink Martindale. He's been there a year. Maybe he could step up. I don't know. Jim Harbaugh Sr., maybe. Hey, don't laugh. Jim Harbaugh Sr. came down and helped Jim Harbaugh out back in the day. The last time suspensions were doled out, anything can happen. But we really don't know what the plan is. Moore didn't say anything. And maybe he was smart to do so. A one-word answer. Kind of nip it in the bud right there. Not give us or anybody any headlines to run with, because he's very excited. He's very excited about the upcoming season. So while we know nothing, Moore claims that he's so fired up about this upcoming season, not even thinking about the NCAA right now. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe there's a little bit of truth and a little bit of exaggeration. He says it goes for his players too. Everybody's so pumped up for the season, they're not even thinking about suspensions or anything like that. And by the way, that's going to be the tough part on all this. The players, when Jim Harbaugh was suspended twice, the big difference was that Harbaugh still coached Sunday through Friday. Film, meetings, practice, walkthroughs. Jim Harbaugh was all there. Just except for 3 hours on Saturday while the game was going on, he wasn't there. That's not going to be the case with Sherrone Moore with the 2-game self-imposed suspension if that's how it stays. It's going to be for the whole 2 weeks. Disappear. Gone. No meetings. No walkthroughs. No practice. No film sessions. No contact whatsoever for 2 straight weeks. And again, it makes you wonder, for Michigan to have offered up that in this situation to the NCAA, again, there had to be something there, something significant in these notice of allegations that made Michigan think, ooh, we better jump in here and let's see if we can put out the fire now and offer ourselves up in a 2-game suspension. What do you think? Let me know in the comments here. Speaking of players being affected, of course, freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood, he needs his head coach, especially early in the year. Kid's 18 years old. He's turning 18 like in a couple weeks. And for the record, regarding the quarterback situation, Moore stated at media days that the quarterback position is still an open quarterback competition between Underwood and Fresno State transfer Mikey Keene. But we know that Keene missed the entire spring session with an upper body injury, and you and I both know. Look, it's respectfully, it's coach speak. It's coach speak. Underwood's going to be the guy. Whether his head coach is there or not, we don't know. Again, hit us up in the comments section. Always love to get this going. Kind of can predict how it's going to go, but let's have it. Let's have it. Both sides. Michigan, Ohio State, and everybody else. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, too, if you don't mind. That way you'll never miss a single episode. We're here every day talking about all Big Ten, all 18 teams, news, opinion, analysis right here. Share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten if you don't mind as well. That'll help us out as well. And don't forget, we have a website called talkbig10.com. All of our podcasts go there. Plus, we got links where you can buy 2025 Big Ten merchandise for your favorite team. Show a little school spirit. Shirts, T-shirts, hats, all that stuff right there. TalkBig10.com. Coming up, we got the latest news. Couple of players are taking some shots at Jeremiah Smith. Why? Jeremiah Smith never says a word. He just speaks on the football field. We'll let you know what's going on there. We got the latest on the recruiting wars. A lot of news, a couple coming down to the wire. And we'll have our top 10 Big Ten observations. This is going to be fun. That's all coming up right here on Locked On Big Ten. Monarch Money. Do you ever wish that managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning for a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control of your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center, and you can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. A super easy app to use. In fact, you can take all your finances, your apps. If you're like me, I got a credit card app, banking apps, money apps, pull it all into one place. And you can pull it in from your significant other or your wife or your spouse, whatever the case is, all in one place for both of you. Easy to keep it real easy and simple with all of your accounts. Watch all your spending in one place, and you'll be on top of it. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. All right, thanks for making Locked On Big Ten your first listen each and every day. Thank you very much, especially you everydayers out there. Meanwhile, be sure to hit that free subscribe button down below. Share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten, your team every day. And don't forget our website, talkbig10.com. Let's catch up on some recruiting. First of all, the number one running back that's out there that we've been keeping an eye on here at Locked On Big Ten, a five-star running back, Savion Hyder out of Virginia, number one player in the state of Virginia. Michigan all over this kid. It looks like it's a battle between Michigan and Tennessee. Also, Ohio State and Georgia are in his final four. Like, this is going to come down to over $1 million of name, image, and likeness money or revenue share money. It's gonna be a money deal. He visited all four of those schools I just mentioned in June, and then took, I guess, more on unofficial visits to Tennessee. Maybe leaning Vols, maybe. But the story here is he announced he is finally going to make his decision August 19th. Mark it down. August 19th. We'll find out where this running back is going. 2026 five-star interior lineman Darius Gray, somebody we talk about all the time on this podcast as well. He has set a date as well. He's going to announce his decision August 22nd. And Ohio State has been all over him for over a year. LSU, South Carolina, Clemson, and Tennessee in the mix, but it looks like it's coming down to Ohio State, LSU, and maybe South Carolina. With the 2025 season coming, and we talk a lot about these 2026 recruiting classes coming together, we always keep an eye on 2027 as well, and Oregon has a jump on that class as well. Five-star wide receiver Keyshawn Bowman, we've mentioned him once here before. He has decided he's going to Oregon. 6'1", 175-pound, class of 2027 now, wide receiver. Chose the Ducks over Ohio State, LSU, and Tennessee. caught 8 touchdown passes his sophomore year at Brentwood Academy. Nice get for Dan Lanning. And sticking with the 2027 theme for just a minute here, 4-star edge Cameron Pritchett. He was the Ducks' first defensive commit for that class. He's from Alabama, and he chose the Ducks over Ohio State, USC, Baylor, Georgia, LSU, and Notre Dame. Now, Oregon and Ohio State have an early jump on in the top 10 for rankings for the class of 2027. By the way, Penn State's ranked second already, 2027. You know who they're buying? You know who the number one team in the country recruiting 2027 is? No, not USC, not Sacramento State. What's going on? Well, I'll tell you what's going on. It's early, number one. But if you're like me, you probably have an idle curiosity what the deal is. Sacramento State, not exactly a football power. How are they leading the rankings in 2027? Again, it's early. They got a bunch of 3 stars, so no 4 or 5 stars, no major announcement like that. But they've got 8 total hard commits already, and that's a lot at this point. A couple teams usually, if they have a couple of 2027 recruits already, that's a lot. They have 8, so it's a bigger class. It's full of 3 stars. That's why they're ranked the highest. So if you follow any of the publications that put out rankings. So I'm sure that will change in due time and probably be a Big Ten team that supplants them. Elsewhere, Buford, Georgia, 4-star safety NASCAR McCoy committed to Ole Miss, class of 2026 now. He's a top 50 safety. He picked Lane Kiffin over Michigan. Michigan wanted him, as well as Georgia, A&M, and Miami. Look, if your first name is NASCAR, I'm sorry. As much as we all love Michigan or love Big Ten football, you got to play in the South. You have to play in the deep South if your first name is NASCAR. So he's going to Ole Miss. Michigan and Ole Miss are battling for another player, by the way, 4-star linebacker Anthony Davis. That one looks like it's going down on the wire as well. Keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, former 4-star offensive lineman Iowa recruit Cody Fox is no longer with the team, according to Coach Kirk Ferentz. Ferentz said, look, man, he's a great kid. He just decided to walk away from football. Has other interest or whatever, didn't want to play anymore. He was part of the 2024 class back in the day. Now, I want to dive into this a little bit here. People taking shots at Jeremiah Smith. First of all, let's start with former Ducks wide receiver Tez Johnson. Well, right now he's in the NFL, right? He's with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But he's not over that Ohio State Rose Bowl loss. He's not. Now, Oregon beat him in the regular season, but Ohio State got its revenge in a big way in the playoffs. Tez says that he is confident that the Ducks will win if they play Ohio State again. He says he keeps receipts and holds grudges. I don't know what good that does because he's not going to play them anymore until he meets some of these players in the NFL someday. But he says, look, man, the Ducks are going to come after Jeremiah Smith. I mean, he tore up the Ducks for 7 catches, 187 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tez says, hey, the Ducks will shut him down if there's a next time. By the way, he's not the only player calling out Jeremiah Smith. Because, Jeremiah recently said, and Jeremiah doesn't say much. He's a quiet kid. Lets his play on the field do the talking. But he recently said, I will never lose to Michigan again. He's 0-1. He got the taste just in one game. He gets it. And Michigan edge rusher Derek Moore, who's a good soundbite. Kid likes to talk. He says, all right, Jeremiah Smith, we'll see you in November. So we're just getting ready to start this season. These guys are already looking for the last game of the regular season against each other. That's the way it is. That's just the way it is in this series. By the way, Sherrone Moore also added in his media days, there will be no more flag planting on rivals' home fields after wins. Of course, Michigan tried to plant its flag at the 50-yard line at Ohio Stadium, and that was after the Wolverines had the upset win, and fights broke out. Police were involved. Pepper spray was involved. A few people got bloodied up. That's all done for now. I don't know. There was even a Ohio State legislator that tried to make it a felony for planting a flag. That was going a little far. But Sherrone Moore says no more flag planting All right. Coming up are top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend. Now, nothing's going on right now. We got like 5 weekends left before we start watching football. And then our top 10 observations for the weekend will be loaded with stats and player achievements. But what we are going to do, we're going to have some fun with. I picked my top 10 favorite big moments from coaches at Big Ten Media Day last week. You know, sometimes coaches that go into coach speak, they don't like to say a lot. They don't want to give away too much or create unnecessary headlines. But hey, when you got 18 coaches, I could come up with 10 highlight moments. That's coming up in just 1 minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. Game time. You need tickets to an event? I mean, it could be a sporting event, baseball, soccer, doesn't matter. How about summer concerts, right? Before people go back to school, I like to go to summer concerts. Those are always fun, especially if they're outdoors. But getting those tickets, man, what if you're the person in charge of getting tickets? Well, I'm going to help you out. You just download the Game Time app, then you get great tickets, and you don't have to waste your time with a bunch of undesirable tickets, crazy costs or bad views or anything like that. Get you and your friends together. Go to whatever show you want to. If it needs a ticket, get it at Game Time with the Game Time app. It makes getting concert tickets faster and easier. You know, prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with their killer last-minute deals. So quit scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, trying to find the best deal. Game Time's zone deals. Pick the best seats in your section for you. And by the way, you want to see what the view from the seat of the ticket you're about to buy looks like? You got the view right there on your phone or your device. Hit click, buy it. You're good to go. No worries before you even go. And at Game Time, the price you see is the price you pay. No hidden fees. So there you go. If your plans change, they got the best cancellation, customer protection service and all the biz. Take the guesswork out of buying concerts and show tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege, LOCKEDONCOLLEGE. Locked On College for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, let's do this. We always close out with a big feature, our Big Ten Top 10 observations from the weekend. Again, nothing really happening this weekend, so we'll go back a couple more days to Big Ten Media Days, and we'll put this on the screen. And if you're audio only, it's a top 10 list in reverse, basically, what's going on. All right, so I'm going to go full screen with this, and I'm going to start it off by giving a shout-out to Barry Odom. Barry Odom, the brand-new coach of the Purdue Boilermakers. So what was so special about his gathering with the media? Well, I like how he came in. He's the only new coach in the Big Ten taking over a downtrodden Purdue football program here. And he said, I had nothing to do with last year's 1-win season. Nothing to do. It's all new, baby. It's all me. I kind of liked it. Well said. Well said. Penn State's James Franklin asked about all the pressure. He says, man, everybody's talking about us. He said, we earn that, but we talk about that all the time here. That's always the pressure. He says, I embrace the pressure. Well, he's got plenty of it to embrace this year. A lot of expectations at Penn State with Drew Aller and company. They're going to be very good. How good is the question? USC's Lincoln Riley. His last question in front of Media Days was about the Notre Dame series, which is about to go away after 100 years. And he says he loves rivalries. When he was at Oklahoma, the first thing he thought of is I get to coach the Texas-Oklahoma game. When he took the USC job, the first thing he thought about was I get to coach the USC-Notre Dame game. But it looks like it's going to go away. And he said, I have no allegiance to Notre Dame. I have allegiance to USC. And if it is deemed better for us to not play Notre Dame and have a better chance of getting to the playoffs, that's what he's got to do. Elsewhere, Iowa's Kirk Ferentz. Put him up. I just enjoy watching him. I mean, in a business where there's turnover like every 3 years at every location, it's just crazy. going into year 27. I think as an assistant and a head coach, has been there for like 36 years at Iowa. You just got to respect that. The dean of all coaches. Do you know that Brett Bielema, the head coach at Illinois, used to play for Kirk Ferentz? I mean, that's how long Kirk Ferentz has been there. Got a lot of respect for it. So I wanted to put him on there. Enjoyed watching him. Michigan, Sherrone Moore. I thought he had a great quote about how he handled last year, taking over for Jim Harbaugh. Really did not have a quarterback in place after J.J. McCarthy left. And yet they still won 7 games of the regular season, 8 overall. The last 2 were against your arch rival, Ohio State, and then Alabama in the bowl game without a quarterback. He said, yeah, man, we make sure that speed bumps don't become roadblocks. Thought that was a great quote. Put it on the board. Makes our top 10. Very cool. Let's see. What else do we grab from that? Ohio State's Ryan Day. He was asked about, you're defending your national championship. He says, no, we're not. We're not defending anything. They're not taking that trophy away. We got it forever. We want a legacy with this team starting over. Thought that was a good mindset. Made the list. UCLA's Deshaun Foster making the list as well. You remember last year when he was a rookie coach, came out there, got blinded by the lights a little bit, and had an awkward moment where UCLA were from LA. He came out this year, made fun of it, and brought it up again, twice actually. So I liked it. I liked it. Tried to grab it and move on. Did a lot better this year and going into year 2 at UCLA. Number 3, Oregon's Dan Lanning. I love the whole doubling down thing. Yeah, we're going to double that. We did a lot that worked last year. Undefeated, Big Ten champs. A lot's working. We're going to double down on what worked. We'll do it even better. I love that attitude. Number 2, Maryland's Mike Locksley. Why did I put him on here? I thought he gave the most honest coach interview I ever saw when he was at the podium. And coaches don't want to make negative headlines. He said, man, I lost the locker room last. We won 4 games last year. I lost my locker room. The haves and the have-nots between name, image, and likeness guys that had money and those that didn't. I'm not going to let it happen again this year. That was a brutally honest moment, and I thought it was refreshing. And then number 1, Indiana's Curt Cignetti. All kinds of heat about no power force on the non-conference schedule. Says, yeah, we're taking the SEC model. Oh, did that create a firestorm with SEC fan this past week? Loved it. That's what Curt Cignetti does. That was fantastic. All right, what'd you think? Did I leave a moment out? Did you like all those? Hit me up in the comments as well. Tomorrow we'll have Tuesday tweets. Throw us something on Twitter. We'll put it on. Stay tuned for the latest news and analysis and opinion every single day here with Locked On Big Ten. And tell your friends about it. Because I know if you're a Big Ten fan or an alum, you know somebody else who is. Somebody that you talk to all the time that doesn't even know we're out here every single day. Spread it word of mouth. Many ways for you to interact with us. Don't forget Twitter at Talk Big Ten. Our website, talkbig10.com for podcasts and school merchandise. And before you go, hit that free subscribe button down below. Recently got over 20,000 subscribers. That was fantastic. We push forward as we come closer to the season. That way you'll never miss a single episode. Go back and catch a second episode for a second lesson. Listen, did a lot of great podcasts. Yes, Fridays, Thursday. Go back and check them out as we get ready for the season here. We were very busy coming off the Big Ten Media Days. I also invite you to check out a second listen of our friend, Brian Smith from The Portal Show, where you can catch that Portal on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. That'll do it for us. I already can't wait till we meet again tomorrow. Thanks for your time here today. I really appreciate it. I'm Craig Sheeman for Locked On Big Ten.